So in this video, I am showing the very first time that I got to ride Rowan. I did buy him unseen. The first time that I saw him was the day that I picked him up. So this would be the first time that I ride him. It's pretty much exactly what I expected from my first ride, the little bit of extra in there. But he did pretty good considering the whole new situation, and we tried a different bit on him than he was using at his previous place. And well, I'll talk you through what I should have done and what I did do. So, all I'm doing is trying to keep him at the walk. What I should have done was change his bit from using the leverage to not using leverage because he clearly was not enjoying it. And I should have seen that sooner, but I wasn't on the ground to see and be able to tell the problems he was having. He was a little uppity, nothing too crazy at the time. It was pretty quiet at the farm at this point, so there was not a whole lot of extra distractions going on. Every time he was doing a good thing, I just gave him some positive reinforcement with good jobs and pets. This end of the arena has been giving us trouble pretty much the entire time that he's been here. He does not like this corner for some reason. He's mostly okay going to the left, still a little up there, but nothing too crazy. And so now we're going to be tracking to the right, and that's where we had our issues. As you can see right here, he was like, I am absolutely not going to the right. You can't make me. Nothing was terribly nasty. He was very calm, very smooth doing all of it. He just had no clue what was going on. I'm not adding too much leg here, and I'm leaving the only option open is for him to go in the direction that I want. Doing my best to look up in the direction that I want to go, keeping my seat nice and quiet. I'm not pulling too horribly much on the reins. It does kind of look like it, but if you look at the bit itself, it's not being pulled too much unless he is giving me problems. Lots of positive reinforcement. I was expecting him to be much worse on his right side, which he is, because all race horses are trained on the left and only track left on the right on their on the track. So I did expect him to give me issues, but I didn't quite expect this much issues since he had been being worked with. Again, I'm just doing my best to stay nice and quiet while he's doing his dance. I don't know what over here on this end of the arena he dislikes so much, but we don't generally have too horribly much problem on the other end of the arena. He just really does not like this end for some reason. There's nothing extra scary. It wasn't the gate we determined. It wasn't the fence. It wasn't the fields. We don't know why he was so against this side of the arena. I'm trying to keep my hands nice and still as much as possible unless I'm giving him a pet. I just want him to... All we were really asking for was a nice and quiet walk, which he did give for a little while, and I did reward him for it. His feet are still a little tender, so you'll see him stepping a little funny because the farrier did trim his feet too short by accident, so that's a whole different story. But you can almost see the little bit of a loop in the rein that I have left for him as long as he is being good. I am adding a little bit of leg here and there just to see how he behaves and how he reacts to a little bit of leg yielding. And as long as we were tracking left, it was fine. As soon as we started tracking right, it was not quite as fine. But I did use just the tiniest bit to reinforce when he did have his up moments where he decided that it was not okay. Here I did ask for a halt, and he did very good, stood nice and square for me. And here we have issues again. I'm staying nice and quiet, just trying to push him in the right direction, giving the only option for him is to go in the direction that I want. And try to keep my hips neutral, my heel at least level, if not down, trying not to add too much pressure for him. So here I was trying to get him to go in the correct direction, and he just was not having it, and resulted in more of a problem. I again just kept consistent with what I was asking and didn't make it an option to go in any other direction. Now he is the one holding his head this way. I'm not asking for this much collection or rounding or anything. This is just how he holds his head. I'm not mad at it, but I will teach him eventually what stretching is and how to stretch down and relax. At this point, we had had a fairly decent couple of steps, and I wanted to switch to the direction he was more comfortable with to see if we were having issues on this side still, which we really weren't for the most part. This direction was much easier on him. This side of the arena still wasn't his favorite, and he does give me trouble, but much less of a reaction than he had in the other direction. So I do add some positive reinforcement, lots of pets, things that he likes. Now here I do ask for a little bit of trot because I wanted to see what it was going to be like. It is incredibly smooth, and he was a little excited about it, but I just kept nice and quiet and really told him what I wanted without being too forceful, and he did eventually settle in a little bit after, a couple of crazy moments. But again, this trot is incredibly smooth. It's almost even hard to post it. You can see I'm even struggling to post it because it is just so smooth and quiet and small. It was very, very comfortable, and I'm very excited to be working with that as my trot, and it makes me very curious as to what his canter will be when we get to that point. Once he was going smoothly, I did just try to keep that trot for as long as I could, and as soon as I had a perfect moment where I thought we were at a perfect trot, I did ask for it to come down to the walk and reward him. So we worked a little bit more in this direction, just trying to keep him nice and straight, which he was not very good at. I did ask for a little bit more trot, which he, of course, did not want to do. He really wanted to canter, but I wasn't allowing that, so we just asked for that nice and little trot. I didn't really care that he was prancing around too much. It was incredibly smooth and comfortable, and I didn't ever feel like he was just going to take off on me. But when he started to act really bad, I did stop him and ask for him to regroup his brain. You can see he very much enjoys that positive reinforcement. And I use mostly clucks to ask him to go because he's incredibly responsive to voice, so I didn't really fiddle with my legs too much. Just try to keep them nice and relaxed. And again, a little playful, not really sure what I'm asking. He just kind of goes along with it, trying to do little trots. Positive reinforcement when he is doing well. And then back down to the walk and lots of positive reinforcement for that. And again, I ask for a little trot. He gives me a little uppity. I don't change my signals or my cues. Just keep him held back a little bit so that way he's not cantering off like he tries to be. Lots of positive reinforcement when I can get it in. He's still incredibly nervous at this point. He's very unsure of what I'm asking from him. New rider, new surroundings, new everything to him. So I was very impressed with the way he handled himself. And again, just continuing with that trot, just really getting a feel for how he was. You can tell when I hunched my back over to pet him a little bit, he did get a little bit more uppity, which I learned the hard way the second time I ride him. That I really have to keep myself very stable and very upright because any movement forward with the hips asks for more. You can even see right there, I bent over a little bit and he got a little bit more up. So I decide since he's being so good, we are going to try on the other rein again because that was the problem side. And I'm trying to push him over to the rail right here, and he's just really not having it. He is fighting me a little bit. And here's where we start to have the problems. He wants to go in the other direction. I don't make it an option. Open my hand up to the direction that I want him to go. Just trying to sit nice and quiet on his back. Trying not to give him any confusing signals. Again, he's trying to change the direction on me. I just push past it. It's not an option. The only option that you have is to go forward. I'm not squeezing him on to go forward. I give him a cluck here or there, just the tiniest little bit of one because it doesn't take much for him. Lots of pets when he's more relaxed and he's paying attention to what I'm asking. I was not worried about my shoulders at this point because I wanted myself to be relaxed and not tipping forward, and I didn't want to put any tension in my back that would make him a little bit more up. So I just let my shoulders relax in front of me rather than keeping a more proper position. I was also very worried about making sure I stayed balanced in case he did anything like this. I just wanted him to go forward without fighting me, which clearly was not an option for him. Here, I'm just keeping my hands forward as much as possible and not adding any leg or clucking. I'm just waiting for him to figure out that that's not what I want. And I cluck for him to go forward. I'm not asking for a trot in this direction because I already know that we're having a lot of issues. So all I want from him is for him to stay nice and quiet, which clearly he does not want to do. And he's in no way being nasty to me when he does this. He's always very balanced when he is having his moments. He's just, I really don't know what you want. I don't like this direction. It's probably uncomfortable for him because he probably does not have the muscle that he needs to be able to do what he wants. I did add a little leg, which he clearly told me was not something that he liked. And I just waited for him to settle out, repositioned myself, looked in the direction, and opened up only my right hand for him to go, which worked at the moment. And then he gives me more of a struggle and decides that I will back into the direction that I want to go. And so I turned him right back around. And I tried to wait for him, and he decided he wasn't going to wait. And so we spun a little bit, giving him still the only option is that we go in the direction that I want, not the one that he wants. I wait for him to calm down, look in the direction I want to go, open up my left hand this time, and ask with a cluck for him to go forward. At this point, my only goal for the rest of this ride was for him to go in that direction without giving me too much trouble. So that's kind of where we are stuck at the moment. That's all I was asking of him was for him to go in that direction quietly. And as you can see, the quieter he is, the more rain he gets, the more relaxed I am. I'm trying to make him comfortable, but still have some security if something goes wrong, or if he decides that he does not want to go in this direction again. You see, he gets about right here, and he's always like, I don't like it, I don't understand. So we don't know what's wrong with that end of the arena and what's fine with the other end. We haven't figured it out. Again, he's trying to change his direction on me, and I just keep the only option that he has is to go in the direction I want. He doesn't want to go to the right, I turn him to the left. Wait for him to settle, reward, move on. He decided nope. He backed up, kept my hands nice and quiet and forward, and tried my best to keep him in the direction that I wanted. He was not having it. So I just waited for him to settle before asking again. And we get some forward movement before he decides that he is refusing to go around this barrel. I wanted him to go on the outside of the barrel rather than the inside, and he just wouldn't have it. He decided backing around the barrel was better, so I waited for him to settle and asked for him to go around the barrel. And I'm still asking for him to go in the direction I want. I am adding at this point a little bit of pressure with that right leg, just the tiniest little bit, asking him to slide over and go in the direction that I want. He does move away from the pressure, which is good. He's an incredibly athletic horse. He definitely knows exactly what he wants to do, and he is able to move very gracefully in the way that he wants, which is good to an extent, but also a little dangerous at times because if you're not fully balanced, you're going to be gone when he does this stuff. So it is good that I have worked on my balance a lot with my other horse because he is everything but balanced. He really set me up for success with this guy. And so I'm going to see if I can go around just one more time, a little bit more behaved than we did last time. And I already had in my head, if you can make it around in this direction one time, we can be completely done. So as long as he did not completely and totally freak out on me, that my goal was just to get off and be done. And I would not count this as totally freaking out on me. He's still a little up, but he's going in the direction that I want. He's not trying to change the direction himself. I do reward. And at this point, I have decided, all right, cool, we're good. And so we go to our designated spot to dismount, which is over by the mounting block. He stops pretty quiet for me. He stands very square when he is asked to stop, which I appreciate, and I give him lots and lots of reward because he did make it all the way around the scary side without giving me too much trouble. I do my best to reach as far down on both sides to give him lots of love. He stood very nice for me to dismount, and I was very proud of him, even though we both had struggles.